Hey YouTube, Eugene here, joined by my friend Kristo from Batawi Blood, and we're here to discuss Sauvage, the newest release from Dior. Um, we just got samples. I've had a chance to wear this several times as I've had several samples, and I can say honestly, when I first smelled this, I was highly disappointed, and I expected so much more from Francois Demachet and Dior, but it seems like they're on the money train with this one, as it's the biggest seller right now, according to the sales associate at our
It's huge. Everywhere
local
says
department store.
Everywhere says it's the number one.
Well, they have a ton of advertising. Apparently, Dior is spending more advertising on this than Disney World spent on Pirates of the Caribbean.
What? I've not
starring
heard that.
Johnny Depp.
Jeez.
Yes.
Wow.
So, what do I get when I smell Sauvage? Honestly, the notes, I think there's 3 notes. Do you even remember what they are?
Not really.
To me, this smells like a one accord ozonic ocean water mist with a little bit of black pepper. Not much amber, like the notes call for ambroxan, and if it is, it's a very fresh amber. The whole fragrance smells like a freshy to me. I get a little bit of sour, fresh, sharp bergamot, a little bit of black pepper. Like it's a little bit spicy, but fresh spicy, and I honestly don't pick up any amber. Like it's a fresh amber at best.
I've heard you mention the pepper. We've obviously talked about this a few times. We text quite a lot, and I've honestly never worn this. Like you've said, you've worn it a few times. I've never worn this. I've got a couple samples, but I've literally never worn it, and I've never honestly been able to pick up any pepper in it. Now,
It's funny you
I don't
say
know.
that because when I apply it to my arm, I don't get any pepper. I smell it in the air though.
Smell it in the air.
And 2 hours after I apply this to my arm, I don't smell it, but I still smell the fragrance in the air.
Really?
How do you feel about the fragrance?
Okay, now, the first time I smelled this, I was actually with you, and had you tried it already?
No, we
We
tried it
tried it for the first time
together,
at the same time,
yes.
kind of special.
Aw.
We'll always have Sauvage, Eugene. Okay, so, it was, I think, right when it was first released, because we were actually, anticipating it and, thinking
That's
where we
right.
could find it, and
We found it at the bay, the Hudson's Bay here in Toronto.
because of course, everyone's comparing this to Bleu de Chanel, right? Especially when it first
And?
came out. And
Aventus.
a little bit, yeah. I've not heard that as much as you have,
And-
I think.
And I actually pick up both of those comparisons. Bleu de Chanel more early on in the fragrance,
Yeah.
and then later on in the dry down, I get that Aventus comparison. It's a fruity comparison, not so much pineapple or whatever people describe Aventus as.
Yeah.
Just that fruity vibe.
So
Yourself?
definitely. I noticed the fruitiness more and more. Like I said, I've not worn it properly, but I've sprayed it, sampled it, blotted it, stuff. And yeah, I definitely pick up a fruitiness to it. I definitely pick up like the kind of ozonic, fresh, clean, maybe watery, not quite watery, but just fresh and aromatic. But like in terms of like ambroxan or amber, yeah, no, I don't pick anything up like that at all. And I definitely say the more I smell it, it doesn't smell like Bleu de Chanel as much as I thought.
I would agree with that. The first time and the second time, I thought I got that comparison, but now I see more of it's a standalone fragrance, and
Bleu de Chanel is a lot of incense. It's a lot of grapefruit, isn't it?
vetiver, yeah.
Yeah. I don't get anything really like that out of here. And, perhaps it's, the psychological effect with the very similar bottles. They're
colors.
both blue with the, similar caps and stuff. They're different shape bottles. But, yeah, I think, they are quite similar.
I do find this quite synthetic, a lot more than Bleu de Chanel.
Yes, totally agree with you there.
Now, looking at this from an artistic standpoint, what would you have to say?
I'd say I'd throw this in the pond right there. This is, for expressing, a perfumer's ideas and, sophisticated and artistic and creative. It's garbage.
Trash.
It's a big seller. Yeah, it's a big seller. They're gonna, like they're going to sell millions and millions and millions of bottles of this, and it's going to be in their rotation forever, right?
Yeah, I agree.
They're
Totally.
not going to discontinue this anytime soon. So in terms of creativity, yeah, it's just throwaway in my opinion. It's fodder.
How do you think Francois Demachet felt being given this project?
Well, he probably envisioned his ski villa in Switzerland being assembled when he was asked to do it, but hopefully he feels a little bit of guilt. I can't imagine that this is, going to be something. If you interviewed him,
very proud.
What? Yeah, what's the great? Dior owned one of the most.
His Fifi trophy. Is
Yeah.
he going to get an award for this?
I hope not, but
Yeah, I totally agree. From an artistic standpoint, I would give this a 0, the fattest 0 I can possibly find.
yeah,
But as a fragrance overall, I do see the appeal in this, the fresh qualities. The young man that doesn't really know much about fragrance, I can see how this appeals to him. Because I
Yeah.
have worn it several times, and it in a weird way, it did give me an extra kick in my step, and it put me in a good mood, and it did smell nice, as synthetic and boring and generic as it is. I worn it to the gym a few times, and it worked. I got pretty good performance out of it. 6 to 8 hours, which I thought was excellent. It projected very well.
Yeah, Dior consistently.
More so than I'm hearing on the reviews. People are saying it doesn't really perform very well. So I don't know. I got really good performance out of it.
I can't comment on that, obviously, but it's been on this card for a while now, and it's standing up. I'm definitely going to wear it and try it out, but I can, like you said before, I can actually see this actually boosting confidence, because I think it is something that a lot of people around you would enjoy. For your average, pleb at the mall kind of thing, like who doesn't know anything about perfume. I can see this, people, oh, you smell good, you smell nice, you smell fresh, you smell fruity. I can definitely see that, in terms of people just enjoying it. But, if I'm hanging out with you, I can't imagine he'd ever walk in and go, oh my God, you smell amazing. What are you wearing?
No.
You're like, ooh, I'm wearing Sauvage, baby. It's not going to happen.
No. From an artistic standpoint, I can't see myself purchasing this, but just if I want something safe and fun, and I don't even know where I would wear this, really.
Yeah,
maybe to work or to the gym. It kind of does feel like a sport fragrance. They should have the sport logo right under here. That's how fresh it is. It's more fresh than some of the sport flankers that they have for Dior Home.
That is.
Or even
I've definitely tried sport fragrances that are less sporty than this, and it's not even listed as a sport fragrance.
Yeah.
But kind of like we were talking about before, in a matter of months, I'm sure it's already in the workings of having Sauvage Sport.
Sauvage Sport, Sauvage Intense.
Extreme and Nuit and Noir.
Overt.
And just every
Data.
flashy adjective you can think of. I just think, considering the last original release from Dior was Dior Homme,
which is 10 years ago.
At least, I think was it 5 or 2 or 5, one or the other. But yeah, it's like 10 years. And, I love it. I think Dior Homme, even like the newer formulations, are just top notch.
I love
it's
Dior Homme.
It's unique, it's different, it's original.
Dior Homme Cologne, Dior Homme Intense. I enjoy all of them.
I'm not that big on, but the rest I think are solid. And to think that this is the first original release from Dior since that, I think this is utterly disappointing.
I'm quite disappointed myself.
Yeah. And honestly, I have to say from the beginning, I didn't have high hopes. As soon as I kind of saw what the bottle looked like and apparently what the notes were. Yeah, Johnny Depp.
What did you think about them choosing Johnny Depp as the face?
Well, you know what? Actually, at first I was kind of surprised because, like, when you see the ads of him and he's like pulling up a shirt like this, and he's like obviously showing off his tattoos. It's like, a middle-aged man, like, ooh, I've got tattoos on my hand.
He kind of has this dirty look to him, and this wild, like they're giving this a wild theme, and I don't really find anything wild about this fragrance.
Yeah, Sauvage is wild, isn't it?
I'd actually prefer this to smell the way he looks.
Sure, like kind
dirty
of a
leather jacket, maybe some musk, some grease in his
beatniky,
hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like leathery and
'Cause
smoky, dirty. Sure.
I think that'd be a lot more interesting than what they've presented to us here.
Yeah. It is an interesting choice. And he's not particularly at the height of his fame or anything now, is he?
Yeah, I
Like
wouldn't
he
say.
hasn't really done anything that notable for quite a while, has he?
Yeah. No, he's kind of dropped back in the scene, so it's interesting that they did choose Johnny
Yeah.
Depp.
I hadn't really thought about it that way, but yeah, a very interesting, different, person to represent. But I guess that's the thing. If they just took some really hunky dude with big abs and washboard stomach and
It
stuff,
looked like every Aqua
he
di
just
Gio,
exactly. Nobody would really know. But this one's like, oh, I want the Johnny Depp fragrance.
Well, you look at Brad Pitt and what he did with Chanel, and it didn't really
it didn't work.
pan out the way they were expecting. So.
I was kind of excited about that because I love Brad Pitt. I think he's the coolest dude in the world. He's really good looking.
And he's a lot better looking than Johnny Depp. He's got better abs.
I can't say I know, but not I
don't know either.
He was
but that marketing campaign flopped.
Yeah, it didn't do well. But that's kind of a big burly man or handsome burly man pushing a classic woman's fragrance that like your grandma knows.
Right.
You know what I mean? But still, either way, it is an interesting choice. Definitely more successful than Brad Pitt because that is kind of like the last big international movie star to be the face of a fragrance.
I'd really like to see how this pans out in the next year or two, since it is a brand new release.
Honestly, I can't see this going anywhere. This is going to be around for a long time, I'm sure.
That's going to be a hit. How soon do you think before we can see our first flanker?
I'm not saying this like exaggerating, but I'm sure it's already in the process now. I can actually guarantee it. I almost guarantee, like, what is it? It's the start of October. I bet you by the end of the year, maybe in time for Christmas, they'll have Extreme.
That's way too soon.
You think?
Yeah.
But it's already been out for a couple months, man.
Come on.
I don't know, man. I think you're giving them too much credit.
We never know in time.
I've seen there are fragrances, you'll see them be released, and then literally, like, within a couple months, they've already got intense versions coming out.
Right. All right. Sauvage. Guys, Kristo, check out his channel, Batawi Blood. I'll drop a link, and thanks for watching.
Gucci Guilty, that's what I was thinking. Like, within months of it being released, they already had the flank. I was sitting there trying to process it, sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
Gucci Guilty.
Guilty.
Dior's guilty of Sauvage.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
See you soon.